I still remember the first moments after rehab. The mental fog was cleared. I was finally looking at the world through sober eyes. It felt good. I was going to own the sober thing, and I wasn't going to relapse. The best days of addiction could not match the euphoria I was feeling of the wind on my face as the birds chirped around me. My optimistic ambitions had me exhilarated about getting out of treatment, for I had a new future to take on. I took the advice of the treatment center. 90 meetings in 90 days, no problem. I liked meetings. Put my recovery first and put my recovery over everything, no problem. That's why I'm here, isn't it? So I did those things, and it felt great. It was time to live. I was winning at life. I was back at work and paying my bills. Every important person in my life knew exactly how well I was doing. My friends, family, co-workers, all proud of me. This fresh take on life was exactly what I needed. I had new friends from the fellowship, people I could finally relate to, people who finally got me. These were my people. I belonged. The nightmare was over, and it was time to live. I created a social media account to inspire others. I wanted others to have what I had. If only they could see just how great my sobriety was, maybe they would want the same. I was getting back to normal, becoming a productive and active member of society. I lived each day, one day at a time. I was sober. Nothing could get in my way. Nothing was going to stop me. I was free. At least that's what I wanted to believe. The reality was my pink cloud evaporated and I fell back into sickness. I didn't relapse, I remained sober. But being sober was not the answer to my problem. It was not the solution. It was just a part of it. The pink cloud was never going to last. This is where simply abstaining from alcohol and drugs is a problem for me. The pink cloud was gone, but everything else remained the same. I still had anxiety over everything. Depression crept back in. My life was dominated by fear. Resentment boiled my blood. Irritability, restlessness, discontent affected my well-being. I couldn't sleep due to the overwhelming sense of dread over absolutely nothing. If you're like me, then this is life sober. The substance use was just a mechanism to get some relief from the symptoms of being sober. I still had the same habits, the same thought patterns. My mind went to the same places. I was constantly triggered. This was not recovery. I used meetings and the fellowship as relief for when my problems reached the limit, but meetings could only temporarily halt the resurfacing demons. I was caught in a vicious cycle. I needed to break it if I was ever going to thrive. I needed something more potent, something soul-filling, something to give me the quality of life that sobriety promised but could never actually achieve. Enter the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous. The 12 steps was the missing piece of the puzzle that I desperately needed. The AA program is a three-pronged beast that became the solution to my problem once I enacted the complete program. I had only been working 2 of the 3 legs of the tripod, unity service but missing recovery. I was thriving within the fellowship and helping the group as a whole. I was doing my best to help others. But with only 2 legs, I was sure to crumble. Luckily for me, I didn't crumble to relapse before I realized I needed to enact the 3rd leg, the 3rd side of the triangle of AA, the 12 steps. Let's go over my problem. My problem is me. My problem is my pride. My problem is my self-centeredness. And by doing the 12 steps, I was able to realize that every single problem in my life was a result of me and my actions. My problem is my ego. My ego wants to shift the blame to others. My ego wants me to be a victim and to take no responsibility for my life. Over the years and through active addiction, my ego has become a super defense type structure in my psyche that thinks it's helping, but it doesn't understand that it's doing more harm than good. It doesn't have any context. So that's what the 12-step recovery portion did for me. It crushed the ego so I can live as my true self, humble and accountable for everything in my life, being able to truly connect to the program, to others, and to spirituality. A complete paradigm shift regarding who I am and how I live my life. Now that I no longer lack working the required components within the program, I receive the full benefits of recovery. I am no longer a dry drunk, white-knuckling it to the next meeting, hanging on by a thread, trying to make it through the day. Before, I expected 100% of the results with only doing part of the work. Now I am free and I live without the desire to drink or use. I no longer get triggered by little things that were only indicators of what needed to be healed. Excuse making is not one of the available weapons to use in my arsenal of recovery. It is my responsibility to own up and take 100% responsibility and stock of everything in my life, and that has been the utmost freeing reality I get to live, and I'm grateful for it. Life no longer happens to me. Rather, life happens, and I am a part of it. I am no longer tethered to the shame of my past and to the worry of the future. My pride no longer fuels anger, and my ego no longer leads me to living in fear. I no longer get my sense of self from the outside. There is nothing external or material that defines who I am as a person. I get my true sense of self from deep within. It had remained dormant inside of me for so long, suppressed by my ego, that was further weighted down and buried with the use of substances. Once released through the 12 steps, my true sense of self became my spiritual muscle, and through working out this muscle through spiritual exercise, I became spiritually fit and connected to life and everything in it. This is recovery. This is the recovery I received when I actively worked to make myself better. I could never achieve this by simple sobriety. Hi everyone, thank you for watching this video. This topic is very important to me. I often see people get sober and clean, and then they struggle in their sobriety, maybe without realizing that there's more to it. For me, drugs and alcohol were not my problem, that they were just a coping mechanism. My problem was other things, and I really had to work at recovering, and that's really what recovery is, or has been for me, is bettering myself. So if you're newly clean and sober, and it isn't all cracked up to be, it isn't what you thought it would be, maybe there's some other stuff that you got to work on, maybe there's more you got to do. There's many methods. I mean, we're living in the 20s now. I suggest the 12 steps. That's what's worked for me, the 12 step and the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I continue to use that, and that's what I'm going to continue doing, but there's many ways. There's many different ways. There's many different programs. There's therapy, there's counseling, there's many different groups, many online communities, many online resources available. I just want to quickly talk about anhedonia. I'm not an expert on the subject, but from my understanding, it's basically your brain's fried from all the drug use, alcohol use over the years, and now that you're sober, your brain it doesn't have the ability to really reproduce the dopamine required, to live normal life, serotonin, neurotransmitters, things like that. So it takes time to heal. So if you're having a tough time in sobriety, that could also be it. If you're having that, feeling that everything's worthless, that could also be it. So maybe look into that a little bit more. Anyways, guys, I'm trying to grow my channel, so please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like the video, it really helps me out. I want to share this message with as many people as possible. Have a good day.